Okay, so here we go. It is Saturday morning, July 20th, 2019, and we're doing yet another episode of the Form Handicappers analysis of the Haskell Invitational, and we're here at the Pass the Wire website of world renowned wagering man Jonathan Steadden, and we're going to take a look at the ace handicapper Giorgio Set or Setti, whichever it may be, is going for a repeat of last year's Haskell, which form handicappers they always feel like the things just repeat and repeat and repeat. So they're always going for the repeat. And as usual, I'd like to point out that I get I get a kick out of this. And as the number one analyst in all of North American horse racing, I am always honored to see that most of the form handicappers are now doing an analysis and even saying that they're analysts. And I'm always honored by that. Uh, but this particular analysis that we'll review this morning is on the 2019 $1 million Grade 1 Haskell Invitational at Monmouth Park, race 12. Post time 5:49 Eastern Standard Time, which is about about 9 hours from now, close to 10. And let's get to it because I don't have a lot of time this morning. And of course, we have a picture of Geo here wearing his distinctive and dapper looking past the wire hat. And of course, I'd like to mention, because it seems like these folks don't like me doing this, reviewing their analysis of the big time races as we go through the year of 2019. So I'd like to perhaps extend an olive branch and let you know and include this message here that you can get yourself a distinctive pass the wire hat of your very own for about 35 clams, I believe. And of course, that's available at the uh, just finely designed and very attractive website of world renowned wagering man Jonathan Seddon, Pass the Wire. PassTheWire.com. Just check in there and they can fix you up, especially if you're a form handicapper or for some weird reason you would want to become a form handicapper. Uh, but I'd like to also add my little side note that a form handicapper is usually not an analyst, and usually doesn't even have any idea of what an analyst, horse racing analyst, does. Which a horse racing analyst is basically a betting analyst. Uh, an analyst is analyzing the event for its betting potential, and that's what's going on. But that little detail seems to escape many. But let's get on uh, with the analysis, or so-called analysis, of the Haskell Invitational. Saratoga's in full swing, and the Haskell, of course, headlines a 14 race card. Uh, Beebity bop, bobbity boop over the years. Yakety yak 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 yak. Hardcore fans, casual fans alike, this day circle on their summer calendar with great anticipation. And, of course, uh, usually Geo has been there. So this is very important, having been there and being there. Tremendously important, even though anybody anywhere can be an at-home horse player and bet and win the horse races from wherever they are. Uh, but very important to be there. It's like having been at Woodstock. So, this is precisely how Geo sees the race shaping out. Good race to be rather aggressive with your play. Whether you lean on and be decisive across the board with my winner or dig deeper into the available exactas, trifectas, and superfectas, as always, I'm hoping the information I am providing will help you make an informed decision. Okay, well, uh, at the windows. Here's my best order of finish. Let's go get 'em. Okay, so his number one pick, the horse he picks to win this race, uh, is number 5, Mucho Gusto. And of course, this colt purchased for an impressive $625,000 has not disappointed his connections. So, this is extremely important in any, uh, I'll say, form handicapping adventure, uh, as opposed to an analysis. Uh, what anybody paid for the horse. I mean, hey, right there, we paid 625,000. So you should bet on this horse all the time. And of course, uh, Bob Baffert, whose picture's up at the top of the story, by the way. Uh, he's won this race a record 8 times. So let's face it, you can't argue with success. I mean, obviously, Bob knows what he's doing when bringing his horses from the West Coast to here at Monmouth. So, since he's won it a record 8 times, that probably means he'll win it every year from now on, over and over again, year after year. Bippity boppity boop. Just run the window and bet on Bob Baffert. Although we've never, ever seen him uh, carry a horse across the finish line. Uh, and he's quite distinctive, so we might have noticed if he came across the finish line carrying a horse, because he's a very dapper dresser, and always looks very snappy, wearing a fine suit, and the white hair and the sunglasses. I mean, you can pick him out of a crowd, and he is a tremendously standout trainer. So. We might have noticed if this had ever happened, but uh, he's a top choice, and powerful stride as they run down the lane, passing the eighth pole. And hey, what more could you ask for? And then there's King for a Day for second. One can argue this guy's been rounding into his best form and perhaps heading to a new level of superstar status all of a sudden. Uh, I guess. Sired by Uncle Mo, grandsired by Indian Charlie, purchased for 125,000. Well, that's a $500,000 less than the number one pick there. So what the hell? Oh, yeah, but he gets a lot of credit for running down the 1 to 9 favorite Maximum Security, and this is big with form handicappers. I mean, they, to listen to them talk and hear what they say, they actually bet on 1 to 9 favorites. Uh, Unbelievable. Uh, but they apparently they run to the window and put their cash in 1 to 9, and then if that horse doesn't win, say that horse loses by half a neck, a head, something like that. Oh, they're just tremendously disappointed, and that proves that the horse is no good forever, forever, and they'll never bet that horse again because it didn't win when it was a 1 to 9 sure thing. So, we have to toss 1 to 9, basically 1 to 9 favorite X, 1 to 9 favorite maximum security in this race. Had to break him down to third. I mean, and we'll take the horse that managed to get in front of him by half a neck or whatever it was. Uh, we'll elevate him to second just because of that, and for no other reason. Two-time Haskell winner Johnny Velasquez back in the saddle for Todd Pletcher, and hey, we all know that Todd Pletcher's another trainer that wins every race that he enters a horse. Uh, and he's won this race 3 times, so there you go. Uh, I'm expecting a smart ride, braking alertly, tactical speed, saving ground, boppity beepity boppity boop, and then his speed ratings have improved, and he looks to be well spotted to hit the board with these. Well, yeah, there you go. Bing, bing, bing. There's your analysis. The trainers won this race before. Uh, the two-time Haskell winning jockey. He's back in the saddle. Uh, Tactical speed and buyer speed ratings. Uh, and bada bing, bada boom. There's your analysis. Uh, and then we come down to maximum security. That horse that disappointed. The horse had to disqualify in the Kentucky Derby because he won it. And really, what's behind that is, they entered this horse way back when they started out. They actually entered this horse in a maiden claimer, $16,000. So that's it. You know. Uh, I don't know if it's even mentioned how much they paid for the horse in the first place, but they entered it in a $16,000 maiden claimer, so that's that. And when Maximum Security won the Kentucky Derby, uh, after being the obvious horse to win the Florida Derby, uh, and all the handicappers, poo-pooed that. Uh, when he won the Kentucky Derby, I believe what actually happened was, hey, wait a minute, did you actually enter this horse in $16,000 maiden claim? Well, we can't have that. We can't have that. It just doesn't look good, and it looks even worse than when we had this 50 to 1 Mind That Bird come in here and win the Kentucky Derby. So it's a tremendous embarrassment. Although the Kentucky Derby is supposed to be devoted to the ability of the horse and the ability of the people around the horse to develop that ability. That's what the Kentucky Derby is supposed to be devoted to, but here in the modern world, it's devoted to other things. And if you come along and win it with a horse that you entered uh, somewhere back in the past for a 16,000 maiden claimer, hey, I don't know about that. I think we're going to disqualify you and your horse. And then if you turn around and at 1 to 9 lose a race, after we pounded all of our money in there, betting on a 1 to 9 horse, well, now we're really ticked off, So we're gonna move your horse down to a third choice. Bethlehem Road by Quality Road. Young Gilding, only horse in the field who did not race as a 2-year-old. Extremely impressive, winning his first 3 starts at Parks. At Parks, Brand X track in Pennsylvania. He won a few races. That big deal is very impressive, but it doesn't take a lot to impress the forum handicapper. Uh, And that is my point with going over their analysis as a form handicapper. Uh, and he's ambitiously being entered in this Grade 1 Haskell for a cool $1 million purse. Uh, Perhaps his speed will last long enough for share with these. Yes, yes, speed. The speed. Ooh, speed, speed. Speedy Colt Jovia. Speedy Colt who surprised many, including this rider when his speed carried in the deep stretch while racing in the 12 furlong marathon and rather daunting Belmont Stakes. Uh, so there we go with the speed again. Uh, and let's move on. We only got 7 in this race anyway. Jovi is the 5th choice. Spun to Run is the 6th choice. Hard to figure on film. Took him 5 races to break his maiden. Well, he doesn't belong in this race. Just on that, I mean, it's like why would we even consider anything with that? Uh, but he could have done it sooner, habitually settling for minor shares of the purses. So, he could have won sooner than that. But he said, eh. The horse said, just give me a minor share of the purse. Uh, Even so, I feel he's still developing and improving. Well, let's hope so. Of course, we don't really most analysts don't like to bet on hope. Uh, and in horse racing, it used to be called poke and hope. This guy is by far the most experienced colt ever fast, and he's got to admit, as a handicapper, has some he has somehow proven me wrong. He has somehow proven me wrong. Not once but twice. I had him greatly shorted in both the Preakness and the Belmont, but somehow, some way, he ended up performing his 2 career best buyers. Okay, so what? Still perplexed how he turned it around. And by the way, buyers are just based on time. And time, uh, if you're a bettor, you really wouldn't want to bet money based on time. Really, come on. But, that's what the buyers are all about. Uh, Trying to get you to bet your money on time. Uh, Still perplexed how he turned it around. Even still, he's only 1 for 11 on a fast surface. Everfast, number 6. And, oh yeah, he's tossing Everfast, number 6. Uh, and there you have it. So, there you go. That's that. Wraps that up. So let's take a look with that in mind uh, at some actual information as to the ability of the horse. These are the at-home horse player Ability X ratings for Saturday, July 20th, 2019 at Monmouth Park. And this is what a an analyst uses or wants to know, the information the analyst wants to get in hand uh, to actually analyze the betting potential of a horse race. Uh, because you want to do a good analysis of that betting potential to decide whether you want to go to the window and stick some of your money in there or not. And that's what's called the betting decision. And you're usually best to make your own betting decision as opposed to having some form handicapper do it for you. Because form handicappers, as we can see, they don't really consider the ability of the horse. They don't really have that. They don't have it in hand. They don't have it in front of them. They don't have even a reasonable idea of how to measure it or anything. And all they've got is some buyer speed ratings, and you know, the, they're impressive, they're high, they're big time. Oh well, this is a very high buyer speed rating. So and all it really means is the race had a short time, fast time, whatever, and this horse ran in that race, so he'll probably have a buyer speed rating that's a little higher because there may have been one horse or two or three horses in the race that got out of the gate really fast and ran the first half mile really fast. Uh, even though they may have wound up fifth, sixth, eighth, and all that, and lost, they may have been last at the wire. But they ran really fast for that first half mile, so that race is going to have a fast time, and that's very impressive to form handicappers for some reason or another. Uh, but speed, and early speed in particular, uh, won't win you a whole lot of races. It is a factor sometimes, but it depends on the early speed of the race and the other horses in that race. And it depends on the horse's ability to carry its speed, whatever it may be, slow, fast, medium, whatever. Uh, Winning the race depends on uh, every horse's ability to carry that all the way to the wire. That's what it's about. And when you're looking at the ability of the horse, like you are with AtHomeHorsePlayer Ability X ratings, you first thing, the first thing I take notice of is who are the favorites in this race. Uh, and here we have them. We have number one is a 2-to-1 favorite. Number seven, Maximum Security, is a 2-to-1 favorite. Number five is a 2-to-1 favorite, and Everfast, the one horse that we have that's been thrown out by handicapping criteria. Well, I was going to throw that guy out. Uh, is number six, Everfast, and his ability X rating is equal and exactly the same as number five, one of the 2-to-1 favorites. And of course, number one here, which one is number one again? I think that might be number seven. King for a Day, number one. And then number five, number five, Mucho Gusto, the one that Gio's picking to win the race. So, uh, let's see. Number five, number five, Mucho Gusto. So Gio, see, this is something that an analyst might want to take note of. Gio's number one pick and one of the 2-to-1 favorites for winning the race, according to the public, of course, and exactly right on the early speed par for the distance today, a 43. And then number six, the one that gets thrown out, is also a 43. Slower early speed. Of course, Gio is impressed at how he manages through the stretch to actually get a little closer, as if he's actually has the ability to carry his run to the wire. He's 10-to-1. 10-to-1. So, let's take another look at that. Number five, Gio's number one pick to win this race over Maximum Security, and who was number one? I can't remember. Oh yeah, King for a Day. Yeah, the horse that beat Maximum Security. I mean, these two are the ones that were half neck apart. The other two 2-to-1 favorites in the last race. Same early speed in that race, and number one is a 22, and the Ability X rating simple pick for this race because He has the lowest Ability X rating at the highest early speed, which is number one. And, you know, maximum security, he's a 31, uh, which would suggest at the same early speed that maximum security might have just a little more oomph in the stretch run of the race. Uh, and in number five, number six may have, and number two at 39, 10 to 1. Uh, Number two may have, a little more oomph in this stretch, a little more run, a little more ability to take that run uh, all the way to the wire. And that's what Ability X ratings are about. And it all depends on these various runs of the horses here. Uh, Number one, number seven, number five, number six, number two. It's all about which horse is probable to really execute this run well enough from the start at the gate to the wire to get to the wire first. You know, does number one this time maybe run too fast early? And then does that allow maximum security to just slide on by there in the stretch the way that King for a Day did last time? Uh, did the stumble at the beginning of the race last time have uh, any real effect or what? Because this is kind of a high rating for maximum security, but it does suggest a little more oomph in the stretch. And if number one's a little overconfident today, and number two, what's number two thinking about, and the trainer of number two, and then you've got number six there, Everfast. That horse that kind of surprises, still, and maybe he'll surprise again because he's exactly same rating as number five. Number five is right on the parley speed for this distance, and hey, uh, but if there's a horse here you might want to bet, uh, hey, betting analysts would say, hey, I want to take a look at. I want to take a look at all of them physically, see who is in condition. We've heard workouts being mentioned as some sort of a sign whether the horse is in condition or not. Hey, who cares? Really, uh, and if you want to know if a horse is in decent physical condition, good physical condition, just take a look at the horse out there on the track before the race. Take a look at the horse out there warming up. Get your face out of the racing form and take a look at the horse. It takes about 30 seconds, 45 seconds to observe this out there on the track, and anybody can see if this horse is in decent condition today. Anybody can see if this horse is in great condition today. Anybody can see if this horse knows it's going to be in a race today and really likes the idea of that. Okay? It doesn't take long to learn this, and all you got to do is do it. And after, a couple of weeks, maybe a month, a couple of months, you're pretty good at it. And I always suggest it, as part of being an analyst, a horse racing analyst, because it's part of the analysis of what you want to do if you want to make a bet on any of these horses. Uh, a proper, knowledgeable uh, horse racing analyst with some sort of measure of ability in hand, like Ability X ratings, might take a look at Everfast today and say, hey, you know what? uh, the horse looks great out there, warming up fantastic, and the public is so disappointed in Everfast, let them go at 15 to 1. and maximum security is sweating quite a bit, and it doesn't look like, and so on and so forth, and boom, there's how you find a good bet, or can find a good bet, other than just automatically, okay, uh, here's the choices, king for a day against maximum security, or maximum security because I've always bet maximum security, and he's got a good run rating there, and old king for a day because he won last time, and so he'll probably win again. Or hey, what about mucho gusto? I mean, Bob Baffert's won this race 8 times, so he'll probably win it every year from now on, as long as he lives. So I'm going to bet number 5 for that reason. And of course, yeah, number 5 is one of the 2-to-1 favorites. So you know, uh, that's how form handicappers do it. And form handicappers don't really have a very good record. Uh, and as a matter of fact, the morning line top two, uh, favorite and second choice, have always won half of the races on today's card, and they'll win half the races today. 14 races at Monmouth, 7 of them will probably be won by the favorite or second choice. So who cares? I mean, those two are always over bet. You want to look for value? Analyze the betting potential of the race and the horse's ability, and maybe you can find some value, bet on it, and win. Because the thing of it is, the thing that analysts understands, if you can decide to bet on 3 races out of 10 and even win just one of those at 10-to-1, 8-to-1, 7-to-1, you're way, way, way ahead of the form handicapper. Because the form handicapper is like, hey, this horse is trained by Bob Baffert. He's got Johnny V on it, which there's nothing wrong with any of that. But, uh, those don't really make a huge difference necessarily on any particular race. And, you might not want to bet your money on that. And especially, as far as I can see and as far as I've ever known, 1-to-9, you really don't want to bet your money on that. I mean, it's a horse race, for God's sake. I mean, come on, people. And then, to get your feelings hurt for the rest of your life because, oh, I bet at 1-to-9 and the horse lost, and you know, well, I'll never do that again. And well, hopefully not. You shouldn't have done it in the first place, but. Maximum security. I'll be taking a good look at maximum security today. But if he gets hammered, you know, I don't care what's going on. I'm not going to bet this race. Uh, but I'll be taking a look at number 6 here, and I'll be taking a look at number 2. Because they're in there with their ratings. Uh, and they're in there with that low early speed. So I want to take a look at them, and I want to size them up for some betting potential. Uh, and that's the way I'll be looking at it, and that's the way I suggest that if you want to win at horse racing, I suggest you might want to take a look at the ability of the horse and the physical condition of the horse, and make your betting decisions accordingly. And that is a wise thing to do. And it has been, that has been my observation over 45 years. So, just wanted to pass that along. And of course, I always like to compare what an analyst actually does, a horse racing analyst, to the form handicapper. Uh, and here we have another episode, and I'm glad that you've chosen to join me for this one, and hope that you will join me also for the next one. And I look forward to it. And in the meantime, uh, good luck and best wishes, and hopefully, when you bet, you win. So, uh, I'll see you next time. Thank you very much.